Good morning and welcome to New Hanover County Schools The Morning Show. I'm Julia Narvaez Munguia.
And I'm Aiden Collins-Peterson. This is the week of January 27th through February 2nd. Thank you for joining us today and starting your day off with our entertainment and educational morning show.
We hope you are enjoying our show this year along with our sister show, Your School News.
Before we get started today, we wanted to take a few moments to tell you about several of the other quality programs we have airing on our channel.
Anyone with a student in the New Hanover County school system will want to watch Up Front with the superintendent. Our host, Ann David, sits down for a one-on-one with Superintendent Dr. Mark Lee. Together, they discuss important topics facing our school system and highlight changes and programs the public needs to know about.
We also have The Forum, hosted by Sheila Evans. The Forum highlights interesting and important achievements, programs, and events within our school system and community. Every episode features 3 separate interviews which strengthen the bond between the school system and the community.
Another show you shouldn't miss out on is Diversity Matters. This show is hosted by Chris Clegg and takes a look at diversity in the school system and community. The school explores unique programs, community partnerships, and talks with many different students in our school system.
If you are a fan of sports, then be sure to tune into our coverage of high school basketball on the Sports Roundtable. Each episode features both the men's and women's coaches.
So if you're a fan of the morning show and Your School News, be sure to tune in into our other programs as you will enjoy them as well.
It's time to check in with the third member of our team, William Shakur. He is standing by right now with our first look at the morning news headlines. Good morning, William.
Good morning, Julia and Aiden. Welcome everyone to Your School News here on the morning show. Topping the headlines this week, students of all ages participate in the Regional Science Fair. Hoggard student wins Poetry Out Loud contest and advances to next round, and student teams up with local nonprofit to bring therapy dogs to campuses. I will have all those stories and more coming up later in the show.
Thanks, William.
It's time for a staple here on the morning show, This Week in History. Our Grand Master of Historical Knowledge has all the headlines from past times in This Week in History.
Welcome to This Week in History, covering all the colorful and amazing events that have left their mark on history's timeline. This is a week of January 27th through February the 2nd. January 27th, 1973, the United States, South Vietnam, Viet Cong, and North Vietnam formally signed an agreement ending the war and restoring peace in Vietnam. Just 11 hours before the truce, there was still fighting and the last U.S. serviceman to die in combat was killed. January 28th, 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger explodes 73 seconds after launch as millions watched on national TV. The mission had the first ordinary U.S. civilian to travel to space aboard. She was killed with all 6 of her crew members. January 29, 1936, the U.S. Baseball Hall of Fame elects its first members in Cooperstown, New York. 5 members were inducted, and the Hall of Fame has close to 300 members today. January 30th, 1948, Mohandas Gandhi, the political and spiritual leader of the Indian independence movement, is assassinated in New Delhi. Gandhi's persuasive methods of civil disobedience influenced leaders of civil rights movements around the world. January 31st, 1988, Doug Williams of the Washington Redskins becomes the first African-American quarterback to play in a Super Bowl. He scored 4 of Washington's 5 touchdowns in an upset 42-10 victory over the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 22. Finally, your weekend history tidbits. February the 1st, 1884, the first portion of the Oxford English Dictionary, considered the most comprehensive and accurate dictionary of the English language, is published. February the 2nd, 1887, Groundhog Day, featuring a rodent meteorologist, is celebrated for the first time ever. According to tradition, if a groundhog comes out of its hole on this day and sees its shadow, there will be 6 more weeks of winter weather. No shadow means an early spring. That's This Week in History, your ultimate source for those key moments in time. Thanks for stopping by.
And join us again next time for another journey through time as we explore the fun, fascinating, entertaining, and educational facts that make up This Week in History.
We have plenty more of the morning show ahead, including an NHCS staff spotlight.
But first, as we head to break, we have the word of the week. Each week we highlight an advanced English word, so when you use them in a sentence, you can impress even educated speakers. Here's our word of the week.
I'm a bus driver.
I'm a bus driver.
I'm a bus driver.
Wouldn't you like to be a bus driver too?
New Hanover County Schools is now hiring individuals to be a part of our elite core of school bus drivers.
That's right. You can work full-time, part-time, or serve as a substitute bus driver.
New Hanover County Schools offers competitive wages, flexible hours, and state benefits.
Best of all, you get to work with the greatest kids in the world.
We need you!
Contact us today to join the next free commercial driver's license class.
New Hanover County Schools is an equal opportunity employer.
Bye-bye.
Hi! Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Julia Narvaez Munguia.
And I'm Aiden Collins Peterson.
With a pencil in hand and a blank piece of paper, you have an infinite amount of possibilities on what you can draw. When you think of something you want to draw, though, many of us feel we don't know how to draw.
Drawing can be fun, relaxing, and very rewarding. But how do you get started? If you feel like you can't draw, don't fret. Today we have a brand new segment to help.
NHCS intern Shania McDuffie has produced a Drawing 101 segment with tips and techniques to use to get you inspired and get your masterpiece underway.
Be sure to take notes and begin your fantastic journey as an artist. Here's Drawing with Shania.
Hi, I'm Shania McDuffie and today I have drawing tips for you. Have you ever tried drawing and couldn't get your shading right? Have you ever tried to make a circle and it turned out more looking like an oval than a circle? Have you ever thought of where to get advice on shading, shapes, and even outlining? You came to the right place. And here are some tips to help you boost your artistic skills. Tip number 1, learn how to hold your pencil. When drawing, there shouldn't be any rush or any intensity. Whenever you are drawing, your grip on your item, such as your pencil or pen or whatever you're drawing with, should be loose. To prevent being nervous or to keep from messing up, begin with drawing different shapes, play with the many different shading techniques, and practice on the thickness and the shade of your lines as well. Drawing should be more relaxing than nerve-wracking. Whenever sketching, underhand or overhand gripping is recommended. Number 2, learn how to observe. According to the virtual instructor, drawing is at least 50% observation. When drawing, sketching, or doodling, we all at least aim to draw an item, person, or place. But how can we draw something without a picture or model? If you are aiming to make your picture identical to its original, looking at a picture or model is best rather than no picture, because without a picture or model, how can you sketch spot on details? Take half of the time that you set aside to your masterpiece to observe and examine your model to get a better view of details in depth. Tip number 3, look for basic and less complex shapes. Whenever looking at a picture or a relief item, you notice that most things in life are made up of shapes that are put together to form one big piece. Looking at your item may cause a brain fart because you may not be unsure on where to start, but break it into pieces to simplify the view. This should help you break your art into a less complex view, and it is easier to help you get started. Number 4, according to rapidfireart.com, hatching is the first technique. This technique consists of lines that goes in one direction. When using this technique, angle your pencil or pen closer to your paper so that your strokes are nicer and thicker. You can increase the value on how dark or light something is by applying more pressure to your pencil or by using a softer grade pencil. The second technique is cross hatching. This technique consists of lines from multiple directions overlapping one another. It can be used to create wrinkly or high-texture type of skin or some types of fabric. The third technique is circleism. This technique is mostly used to create realistic skin textures. It consists on drawing many circles that overlap one another, which builds tone. The fourth one is contour. This technique is similar to hatching and cross-hatching. With this technique, you are curving your lines to follow the shape of the form that you are trying to shape. And the last tip, number 5, is to practice. In order to up your drawing skills and to get your artistic juice flowing, you have to practice. Whenever you have time, pull out a notebook or a piece of paper and draw the first thing that you see. It could be a tree, a chair, a box, or even someone's face. In order to get better at something, you have to be dedicated and willing to learn how to become better. You will make mistakes, but it will teach you how to simply erase and try again. Once again, I'm Shania McDuffie, and I hope these tips are helpful in order to help you learn how to unleash your inner Picasso.
Thank you, Shania. Those were awesome tips that will help anyone get started with their artistic journey.
And if you enjoyed that segment, then get excited, because there's more art features coming up on today's show, as well as challenging art trivia game time.
For now, though, it's time for our morning news. Let's send it over to William Shaker, who has great stories to report. Good morning, William.
Thank you, and welcome to your school news on the morning show. I'm William Shaker. Our top story this week, the Regional Science Fair was recently held at Murray Middle School. YSN reporter Johanna Carey went into the field to bring us a full report and interview some of the participants.
I'm here at Murray Middle School for the Regional 2020 Science Fair. I've already interviewed a few students, and here's what they have to say.
What I like about Science Fair is that you can pick any topic you want and research it, and then you get like really interesting results sometimes. Sometimes you don't. However, it's not really the results, it's the experience that you have making this project.
Science Fair, well, it's a rite of passage, really. If you think about it, students doing their own experiments on questions that either they're coming up with or they've seen somewhere, and really investigating those questions, creating their own hypothesis, and trying to figure out what's going on, and then using that investigation to come to that conclusion. We also have engineering projects where they're designing a solution to a problem or something that they see could use a solution, and they're going through that design process and making a prototype and testing it, and then reevaluating, coming to that conclusion.
It was really cool. I mean, I personally think dissection, looking at all that, is really interesting, and it was a fun way to have an opportunity to get to do that. And
also the experimentation process and being able to explore something that we're both really interested in, to allow us to show, like, yes, we hear about this all of the time on the news, and it might not seem like an actual issue, but it is, and it is affecting us even in our little city.
And once you're done with like a project like one of these, it just gives you a brief satisfaction. For example, solving the Rubik's Cube, or solving a puzzle, anything like that. So that's the real purpose to Science Fair when I think of it, and I just like the satisfaction when you finish something, and yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, the thing that I like about Science Fair is just the whole process overall, and just like, it's basically just like a learning process, and it just, every time you're done with the Science Fair, you just want to keep on improving and keep on doing better to get to the next level, and that's what I like about Science Fair.
reporting from Murray Middle School, I'm Johanna Carey from your school news.
The class president over at Hoggard High School is trying to make finals week less stressful for students with some friendly canines. Julian Hill recently teamed up with 4 Paws and Wake Up NC, a therapy dog nonprofit, to make it happen. School staff was also on board with the effort. Dogs made their way into the media center bright and early and allowed students to pet them and talk to them. Hill says he believes the therapy dogs will make a big difference when it comes to tests, stress, and anxiety.
So when I first became president, I was thinking of what can I do to help out Hoggard and how can I make it big. And I've seen therapy dogs on the news before, and I've seen them in colleges and in elementary schools, but I haven't seen them in any type of high schools. And I feel like stress is at the almost peak in high school, not only with finals, but with also social things. And so I think if we brought therapy dogs to a high school, it would really de-stress the students for finals and make everyone feel a lot better and having them where they're really needed.
New Hanover County Schools is the recipient of the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction Center for Safer Schools 2019 through 2020 School Safety Grant. The safety grant will provide over $600,000 in financial resources. It will allow the district to fund school resource officers and help upgrade radio communications. The grant will also enable the district to increase its partnership with Coastal Horizons, communities and schools of the Cape Fear, and New Hanover County Resilience Task Force. NHCS Director of Student Support Services, Kristen Jackson, says that this grant allows New Hanover County Schools to continue to support our students' emotionally and physical safety in conjunction with our community partners. Through community partnership, the district will be able to provide a trauma-informed licensed professional to students K through 12. NHCS also expands current trauma-sensitive school training to 5 more schools and offer a 2-day resilience training for educators to provide them with tools to ease stress and secondary trauma. Poetry Out Loud brought 8 contestants from Hoggard, Ashley, and New Hanover High to Minnie Evans Auditorium this year. But in the end, Marie Benson from Hoggard took the big win. She will go on next to compete at the state level on February 22nd in Greensboro. Poetry Out Loud is a national arts education program that encourages the study of great poetry by offering free educational materials and a dynamic recitation competition to high schools across the country. This program helps students master public speaking skills, build self-confidence, and learn literary history and contemporary life. Poetry Out Loud is a partnership of the National Endowment for the Arts, Poetry Foundation, and the state and jurisdictional arts agencies. For all of the latest New Hanover County schools, join us weekdays at 5 p.m. here on Spectrum Cable 5 and Channel 191 on Carolina Beach for your school news, a complete half hour of the latest news and information from New Hanover County schools. Now back to our hosts.
Thanks, William.
All right, it's time now for this week's lunch menu. This is a menu for Monday, January 27th through Monday, February 3rd.
On Monday, January 27th, enjoy your teacher work day off from school. Eat a healthy lunch and go outside to exercise if you can.
Then, on Tuesday, January 28th, shake off those Monday morning blues at a lunch with nacho grande with cheese sauce and a corn muffin, crunchy corn dog nuggets, or a pork chop sandwich. No matter which you choose, you can add pinto beans, sweet potato fries, and diced pears to your plate.
On Wednesday, January 29th, feast like royalty on orange chicken served with brown rice, cheesy breadsticks with marinara sauce, a stunning Philly cheesesteak or chicken nuggets. Side items for the day include succotash and applesauce.
On Thursday, January 30th, make your lunch fun with a beefaroni with breadstick, an enticing chicken filet sandwich, or cheese or pepperoni pizza. Finish off the meal with palatable black-eyed peas, gloriously glazed carrots, and mouth-watering mandarin oranges.
Then on Friday, January 31st, celebrate the coming weekend with a bacon cheeseburger, chicken nuggets with a dinner roll, or succulent chicken egg rolls. Side items include french fries, healthy mixed vegetables, and mixed fruit.
Finally, on Monday, February 3rd, spice up your day with a delicious chicken alfredo with a dinner roll, a scrumptious Italian hoagie, or a barbecue pork with hush puppies. Complete your awesome meal with coleslaw, sweet garden peas, a healthy tomato and cucumber salad, and diced peaches.
And there you have the lunch menu for the week. In addition to those items, milk, a garden salad, fresh fruit, French bread pizza, and a peanut butter and jelly combo will be available daily.
So many delicious choices. Don't forget, you can also start your day off with a hearty and healthy breakfast at school.
Now when we come back, we have a fun new segment produced by an NHCS TV intern.
It's coming up right after this short break.
Women Heart is in a race to save lives. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women. it's 80% preventable if you know the facts. Millions of women are living with or at risk of heart disease. Get educated. See your doctor. Know the facts. To win this race, we all have to do it together. Our hearts beat as one. To learn more, visit womenheart.org.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Julia Narvaez Magia.
And I'm Aiden Collins-Peterson.
We now have a new addition to our morning show this year. If you have some free time or are looking for a new hobby where you can meet new people and challenge your mind, then pay attention.
NHCS TV intern Dylan Roberts takes us into the world of card games with this new segment titled Fun and Decks. Today he looks at the long-running and still very popular game, Magic the Gathering, and tells us how you can get started.
Hello, and welcome to Fun and Decks. I'm your host, Dylan Roberts. Today we have the opportunity to learn about a trading card game that is sweeping North Carolina. Trading card games are a pastime for many people, and their popularity hasn't seemed to fade. This includes one that has seen much praise and love, Magic the Gathering. This simple-to-learn card game has even been turned into a successful online video game to expand the number of people it reaches. Magic is a card game where each player has a deck of at least 60 cards. Each player uses lands to gain the materials required to play monsters and spells. The first person to reduce their opponent's health from 20 to 0 wins. Magic the Gathering was first revealed in 1993 at the Origins Game Fair and has grown so much since then. Since its humble beginning, the game has held tournaments across North America, Europe, and even in Japan. The community around the game has pushed it to be an esport competing with the best and continues to rise in popularity. Magic is one of the most popular trading card games in the world, and at Cape Fear Games on Oleander Drive, it's no exception. The game store boasts thousands of Magic the Gathering cards to trade, collect, and challenge other players with. Not only that, Cape Fear Games hosts tournaments and game nights where people can come and play with other fans of the game. This includes Friday Night Magic, which is run by Wizards of the Coast, the creators of Magic the Gathering.
Well, honestly, one of the benefits I've found with Magic is they actually have something called Friday Night Magic, which is going on in the background right now. And they have this community gathering where wherever you go in the country, in the US, you can always find, there's like one store here or there or somewhere, even if it's like, 5 minutes away, 30 minutes away, you can find it. So when I first moved here to Wilmington, it was looked up the store, see some popularity, see some reviews, and go to an F&M. And then sure enough, loved the store, loved the community, and been here ever since.
Each night of Magic the Gathering games normally host around 50 players, and they are willing to help you learn more about the game as well.
I don't necessarily think the game's for everybody, but if you have interest in it, there's more than enough people that are always willing to help, and like myself and like other people have like extra decks and stuff too. If there's ever like a cost barrier to playing the game, and I know a lot of people are more than welcome to help people getting into the game.
Also, Cape Fear Games hosts tournaments for the players where you can challenge others to be crowned as the best player for that week.
It's a great game. If you want a little break up from like just a typical video game or something, a little more strategy, you can download a Magic the Gathering Arena on your computer. You can play it completely free. Come to the shop, play different formats. We got stuff during the week. It's a really easy way to get into. Super fun game, super rewarding the more you play it.
Cape Fear Games is a great place for any card game enthusiast to go. You can find them at 4107 Oleander Drive, online at www.capefeargames.com, or call them at 910-798-6006. I'm Dylan Roberts, reminding you to keep your deck topped up.
Thank you, Mr. Dylan. That looks like a fun game to play.
And I didn't know it was so popular right here with weekly game nights.
Keep it tuned to the morning show for more fun and decks as Dylan explores more exciting and fun games you can play.
Now we shift gears and bring you an episode of NHCS Spotlight. This segment introduces us to the people who work behind the scenes for New Hanover County Schools. We will meet them, get to know about them and a little bit about their job and how they support our school system. Today we meet Matthew Smith, an area network coordinator in the technology department. We learn about his role and how he supports our schools and the people in our schools.
I am a network area coordinator for New Hanover County Schools, the Western region. So basically it's me and 5 other guys, and we break it up by region. And so I have, like, downtown, New Hanover, Snipes, Gregory, etc. Basically I come into the morning and just check, make sure everything's up. Like this morning we had a little incident where some things were down, so it's crucial that we get in. I come at 7 to, make sure everything's up and running smooth for the faculty, staff, students, and everybody gets to school, and make sure that the network is running smooth. A lot of times they have no idea that there was even an issue before they come in. Network refreshes, that's a big thing that we do. So new equipment comes in, we're responsible for getting that stuff checked in, configuring those things and getting them set up, and then coordinating with the schools, going out and installing them, and making sure things are run as they should. I got into this field, I did some time in the military. I was in the Marine Corps, and I kind of touched base with IT, with what I did in communications. Worked closely with some IT guys, got out, got back in as a contractor, did some work in Afghanistan for General Dynamics Information Technology, hence IT. So I was working with some pretty savvy network engineers, and I was watching closely what they did and figured, hey, why not me? So decided to go back to school, use my GI Bill, knocked out an associate's degree here at Cape Fear Community College in about a year and a half, got some certs, CCNA, got a little gig with PGA Tour, mostly doing infrastructure work, and then heard about this opportunity here and got hired on, and the rest is history. So some of the day-to-day challenges is, not every day, but a lot of days we come in and things are running smooth, and there's really not a whole lot of what we call work orders, so people requesting to have certain things fixed. And then some days it's like the snowball effect, like everything happens at one time. So, I could come in and all of a sudden I got, an entire school that's down, or, I have a project going on. It's just, so sometimes some of the challenges can be just being organized. I mean, you have to be organized because it's so easy to forget something. We have ways of documenting things like our, programs for work orders, but just staying on top of your stuff. I mean, I have 2 or 3 vendor projects going on. I have a phone project to install the new VoIP system at a school. I've got techs calling me because they've got broken drops at this school, and this person over here can't get on their, their staff or student iPad. Or, I mean, there's just so many things to keep track of here, so you have to be organized. So I think that's a huge challenge here. How does our job support teachers, parents, and students in the schools? How does it not? I guess I should ask. I mean, we run the show, we run the network. Without it, you don't have internet. Your kids can't learn. I mean, this is the world we live in relies so heavily on internet. Teachers use YouTube videos, iPads, websites for, learning resources. I mean, without that, without the internet, you have none of that. Favorite part of my job is just coming in and working with the guys. I mean, like I said, we have a very strong team of about 6 or 7 guys, maybe 8. Learning. We're constantly, if I don't know something, we've got guys that have been here obviously longer than me, more experienced. They have a very, open door policy. Hey, come on, I can go in and sit with those guys and like, hey, show me how to do this. And it's just, for me, not being in the field very long, there's so much that I want to know and learn, and it's right there. I have that at my fingertips. So for me, just coming in and working with the guys in a team environment, and you know, we all get along very well with each other, and it's just, yeah, it's kind of cool. It's actually the first job I've had where I didn't dread coming to work. Not many people can say that, so yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, for all you do for New Hanover County Schools, the students, and the employees.
It's time for a break. Here's our modern music bumper, a quick look and listen to one of the musicians of our time. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Yeah, I like to keep it mellow. I smoke and keep it mellow. I drink and keep it mellow. Every day I keep it mellow. Every day I keep it mellow. I smoke and keep it mellow. I drink and keep it mellow. Every day I keep it mellow. Every day I keep it mellow.
Hi, I'm Ice-T. As a veteran, I know that for many former servicemen and women, the battle doesn't always end when they come home. Every day, 184 veterans are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress, and sadly, 20 take their own lives. When nothing else helps, professionally trained service dogs can. American Humane, serving the U.S. military for over 100 years, rescues animals in need of forever homes and trains them to become free, life-saving service dogs for our nation's veterans. If you're a veteran or know a veteran struggling with post-traumatic stress or traumatic brain injury, please go to AmericanHumane.org to learn about their Pups for Patriots program. Let's give our veterans a fighting chance.
Good morning, and welcome back to The Morning Show. I'm Aiden Collins-Peterson.
And I'm Julie Narvaez-Manguia.
We have some great segments ahead, but first we have our Did You Know?
Did you know that Eiffel Tower is repainted the same color every 7 years?
Each time the entire tower is repainted, France wants to ensure that it keeps looking brand new.
The Eiffel Tower was built using a puddle iron, a material with practically eternal lifespan if it is just regularly repainted.
Only a team of 25 painters strip, clean, apply rust proofing, and the final coat of paint to the whole 300 meters of the tower.
Even today, they only paint to hand to keep with the original tradition. Every painter is an expert at working on metallic structures and a high-altitude labor.
They also must be in proper physical condition in order to work on the tower.
It takes about 18 months to paint the entire tower, and an estimated 60 tons of paint are used each time.
And that was our Did You Know, where you always learn something interesting.
Changing gears now, we have our next morning show segment.
Archaeologists study past human life and culture through the recovery and examination of remaining material evidence. Using artifacts, inscriptions, monuments, and other remains, they paint a picture of the past.
In many cases, that picture tells a story. We have one of those amazing stories from our friends at the Archaeology Channel. This week, they take us all the way to Bahrain to show how a 200-year-old fort is being recovered.
The news these days from the small countries of the Persian Gulf often relates to Middle East tensions and the oil-based world economy. But the region's deep, colorful, and complex history seldom reaches the front pages. In the 1630s, the Portuguese built fortifications at Bu Mahar Fort in today's small island country of Bahrain, but the historical record is sketchy. A four-cornered fort was there in 1818. The British destroyed this structure in 1868, and the ruins, including a solitary stone tower, became a local sheikh's horse stable. At the request of the Bahrain Ministry of Culture and Information, a team from the British archaeology firm Oxford Brookes Archaeology and Heritage arrived there in early 2010 to find out what remained of the fort beneath the ground.
We're here at Bu Mahar Fort on the island of Muharraq in Bahrain as part of an Oxford Brookes team working on behalf of the Ministry of Culture and Information. We want to dig the fort, we want to establish its dating, its occupation history, and expose as much of it as possible. The view you see here is the surviving and rebuilt remnants of a fort. It's the only surviving wall and tower. The other towers are buried. They were shelled by the British in the 19th century, after which the fort ceased to be used for its original function.
We've been digging trenches on the site now for a couple of days, and one of the first things that we found on the site is that in the 1970s a lot of the fort has been rebuilt and reconstructed, and as part of that work a lot of the ground has been made up around the fort to give the impression of a sort of brand new reconstructed landscape in effect. And as part of that work, some of the older features, the original fort features, have been buried. So what we've been doing today is cleaning up one of the features that we have found, so we can try and date the wall accurately. And the next thing for us to do is to record the earlier structure that we found, so we can start to make a plan of the original fort as it was.
380.
So past few weeks at the fort, I've been recording some of the elevations here, the tower and the curtain wall. We thought might be old, turns out it's 1970s, but and then taking the survey of the whole site with the total station to tie together what all the guys have found while they're digging, and hopefully we can make some interpretations about where other parts of the curtain wall and the towers were, and yeah, should provide an interesting project.
My job is to provide the environmental and landscape context to the fort and to any archaeology we find on the site. And this area is quite important because there's one of the only pieces of virgin coastline in Bahrain, because the rest of the island has been so heavily reclaimed into the sea. And I'll be looking at test pits and drilling holes to have a look at the subsurface stratigraphy and try and understand how the topography has changed, and use that information to put the archaeological information in an environmental context.
Excavation is only the start of the process. We need to study the finds. There will be months of work following the excavation. Chaz and his team will have to conduct the analysis of what they've excavated. I will have to study the pottery, do comparative studies. We will have to look at the other finds. We have coins, for example. We will be working on this for quite some time, because excavation is really just the beginning.
We hope you enjoyed that interesting story from the Archaeology Channel. We'll feature another great story next month here on The Morning Show.
We continue our show with gardening and nature. These segments are brought to us by the Cape Fear Garden Club and produced by host Barbara Downing. If you're a bird lover, then you're going to enjoy the next few episodes of Gardening and Nature. Today we continue a 3-part series on the bluebird with our second episode. We'll learn all about the bluebird, their houses, and their life.
Generally, bluebirds enjoy, they eat insects.
Yes, they do.
But in the early winter, when the insects aren't out, I know they will eat berries. So
that's right.
And they'll prefer native plant berries.
Yes.
But I understand that they've also become fond of mealworms.
Absolutely. So for the homeowner that's willing to provide that, they love mealworms. But they are ground feeders, so they love any kind of insect like snails and crickets and spiders, beetles. So they are the friend of the gardener and the farmer. So that's an extra incentive for gardeners to have bluebird houses.
Yes, because they're just, in terms of watching them, they will come to your feeder, you know, unlike
Yes.
some birds who never
Yes.
come to the feeder. So how did the students help build this trail?
When my co-chair Cheryl and I were meeting in July and determining what we plan to do for this coming year, I enjoy painting, and one of the projects that I do is painting birdhouses. So we looked at that idea and we decided that that was a wonderful way to involve the schools, not only in allowing us to establish a bluebird trail there, but to have the children paint the bluebird houses and the posts. So we contacted STEM teachers, Janice Rickey here at Rachel Freeman, and with her help we were able to do that.
Great. Then also you chose the younger students to do the painting, and I noticed when we go out and we'll look at the bluebird houses, they chose blue as their color. And I think you have a sample of one of the houses here.
This is one of the houses that I paint, and this is what we started with, because I found that these houses that you can purchase at the employment
State Employment Credit Union. Right.
They're very easy to find. They're very inexpensive, $10, and they're very paintable. So when we approached the STEM teachers, we said we would provide the houses and the posts, the paints, and bring them, pick them up, finish them, and install them in the ground. So it was a great working relationship.
Oh, great. There are some specifications to this house.
Yes.
And I know you were telling us earlier to find all the appropriate things that need to happen in order for a bluebird to choose that house.
Yes. Bluebirds do not like the typical, or some of the bluebird houses that have the little perch outside, and they like a certain diameter hole.
I think it's 1.5 inches. I read that.
And they do like the overhang. They do have to have air holes, and it drains out of the bottom very easily. There is a nail in the side, so that you do need to do maintenance.
Right.
At the end of the season, late summer, it's a good idea to open the bluebird houses up, clean them out. They like a clean habitat. They do like a tight cavity. And so this is the design that they have come up with, and it works beautifully.
Now, for areas or people who have like a whole trail of 6 boxes or something like that, I just happened to be at Birds Unlimited, and they were showing me this, that you could actually fit this into your house, so that when they build their nest, all you have to do is take that out, and then you have a clean.
That's a wonderful idea.
It's biodegradable, and it's very inexpensive,
Because one of the things about establishing a bluebird trail is not only putting the bluebird trails in, but you do need to come back at the end of the summer, and you need to keep them clean, and you need to check the boxes and make sure that there's not anything in the box other than the bluebird nest.
Right, because other birds do like to make nests in the bluebird houses. They're not the only ones that prefer that kind of house. And also they need to be located on posts, and at least how tall are the posts?
The posts that we use are the 4 by 4 by 8 feet. Bluebirds will nest in fence posts as low as 2 feet, but they prefer the 6 to 8 foot height. Around metal pole is probably preferred to keep squirrels and other animals out, but we use the wood post. That's more convenient. So we use the 4 by 4 inch by 8 foot wood post, and put the post 2 feet in the ground.
Right, and they are susceptible to predators.
Yes.
Coming, raccoons, squirrels, even snake. I read that even snakes will come up and things that can jump. They are supposed to be a certain distance away from houses or trees, so that they don't have something jump on them.
The bluebird posts ideally should be 100 feet apart, because bluebirds are very territorial. They should not be put where there's underbrush. They want clear, open space, and preferably with no tree limbs hanging over the top. But for the little fledglings, for the new little birds, once they're exiting through the hole, There does need to be some branches someplace close by that they can fly to.
It's wonderful. Well, bluebird boxes and bluebird trails have proven very successful in stemming the tide in the decline of the bluebird population.
Yes.
I mean, this is actually one of those success stories that we can talk about, that man's intervention has paid off. And so you were talking earlier about getting these boxes, and that's at the State Employment Credit Union.
Yes.
And you ask for a bluebird box, and they're $10.
Just $10. It's just amazing. Sometimes they do run out. It's depending this time of the year, they may be low, so it's a good idea to call to see if they have it.
Thank you, Ms. Downing. That was a lot of great information. Be sure to tune in next week for the final part of this special 3-part series on bluebirds.
Okay, everyone, get your thinking caps ready, because when we come back from break, it's game time. Today's game is all about art.
Keep it tuned here to join in on all the fun.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps. Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Welcome to Game Time. I'm your host, William Shaker. Here at Game Time, we pit 2 contestants head-to-head in a themed and educational contest. Today, our Game Time is all about art. If you're a fan of museums and work of art, then you're sure to do well with today's game. Let's send it to our contestants first, though, for a special segment on art.
Since the earliest moments of human history, art has been a part of our world. From those early cave painters to the modern-day digital artists, people have always found a way to share their creativity while awing and inspiring others.
There have been so many fascinating artists in our work over the centuries, we couldn't possibly cover them all.
But today, we have to take a few minutes to highlight some of our great artists and their contributions to the world.
Here's a look at some of the great artists.
Art has been influencing society for generations. From Da Vinci to Banksy, artists have always had a big part of everyday life. The history of art is a long and memorable one. Great artists from all generations have famous works that have shaped the culture of today. Starting with Leonardo da Vinci, who is a famous Italian Renaissance artist. His works include his many inventions, paintings, and sculptures. Some of his most famous paintings include The Last Supper and the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa is an iconic painting that people of all ages know. However, many people still speculate on the true identity of the Mona Lisa. She was actually the wife of a wealthy silk merchant who commissioned this painting to celebrate the coming of their newborn baby. However, for reasons unknown, this portrait was never given to the family, and Da Vinci took it to France with him on his travels. Vincent van Gogh is an artist most known for his varying emotions expressed through his art. Some of his works feature the starry night, sunflowers, and his many self-portraits. He fell into a deep depression and found himself feeling sickly in the year 1888. He began to eat paint and turpentine, and this worried his family and friends. One night, he cut off his ear and offered it to a beautiful woman as a present. Van Gogh used his paintings as an outlet for his troubled emotions. He painted his most famous work, The Starry Night, in an asylum 1 year before his death. Pablo Picasso was a Spanish artist and partly responsible for the artistic style of Cubism. Cubism features the use of geometric shapes to portray humans and other realistic figures. Historians categorize Picasso's works into periods based on time and style of painting, the first of which was his Blue Period. That featured The Old Guitarist, which was the most famous work of his Blue Period. By 1905, Picasso had overcome his depression and his works became livelier. This was called the Rose Period. This was brought about by his newfound love and generous donation of money from a patron who supported his works. His next and last phase of art style was nicknamed the Classical Period and featured a brief return to realism instead of his otherwise surreal works. Salvador Dali is yet another Spanish artist. His works focused heavily on the concept of surrealism, which helped artists express dreams and creative concepts never before seen. His most famous work is The Persistence of Memory, which features a wide landscape and various melting clocks scattered around the image. His abundance of surrealist paintings quickly came to the attention of many art critics and fans. Dali experimented some in filmmaking in the 1930s. He always sported his iconic look of very long and thin mustache curled upwards, paired with a hat and a cane. Another popular type of art, pop art, was developed by artist and filmmaker Andy Warhol. He is most known for his pop art of Campbell's soup cans and Marilyn Monroe. Pop art is a type of art that features bright, vivid colors and commercially known products. These small and memorable works quickly rose to popularity in the art world. As Warhol gained recognition, the demand for his paintings skyrocketed. Celebrities and wealthy people alike all wanted one of Warhol's original works. One modern famous artist's name is Banksy. He keeps his identity a mystery, and his art form is graffiti that usually carries a message about society or politics. He is a British artist who was named Top 100 Influential People in 2010. He has moved from graffiti to canvas paint, sculpture, and even film. His documentary, Exit Through the Gift Shop, was nominated for an Academy Award. He has his own organization to track imposters since he does not reveal his identity. His last face-to-face interview was held in 2003. His social commentary has rocked the art world since his first works went viral. Impressionism, Cubism, Surrealism, Postmodernism, and pop art are all various art styles popularized by these great artists. Using these different styles, artists can express their feelings in a way that words cannot do. Many other artists have followed in the trend that these visionaries have set. New and inspired pieces are created every day and displayed in galleries. The latest trend in art uses the newly available technology of digital art. Drawing pads and pens that connect to the computer allow the artist to create images on the screen. Trends come and go in the art world, and the next one is always unexpected. From classical and Renaissance paintings to street graffiti, all art has meaning to the creator and has meaning to the many art lovers and fans all around the world.
Thank you for that magnificent segment, Vanessa.
One of the great things about art is anybody can do it. No matter your skill level, with a simple pencil and a sheet of paper, you can be on your way to creating something unique.
And creating a piece of art is always fun and very self-rewarding.
Now it's time for Aiden and I to test our art knowledge.
That's right, art is the focus of today's game.
Let's send it back over to William and learn how the game will be played. Welcome back, William.
Thank you. For today's game, we'll ask an art-related trivia question. If you think you know the answer, you must buzz. The first person to buzz gets to answer. If you blurt out an answer without buzzing or winning the buzz, it would not count. Also, if you buzz before I finish asking a question, you will have to answer it then. If I will not read the rest. If the first person to answer is wrong, the other contestant gets a chance to answer. Finally, if you are both stumped on one, I will give the answer and we will move on. There are 15 multiple choice questions. Okay, contestants, are you ready? Here's the first question. Who painted the Mona Lisa? A. Rembrandt, B. Da Vinci, C. Picasso, or D. Salvador Dali? Yes.
B. Da Vinci?
Yes, you were correct. When did Vincent van Gogh paint The Starry Night? A. 1889, B. 1912, C. 1967, or D. 1970?
A.
Yes. Pablo Picasso is originally from A. Peru, B. Mexico, C, Spain, or D, Brazil?
Spain?
Yes, you are correct. Which of the following is not one of Picasso's art periods? A, blue period, B, golden period, C, rose period, or D, classical period? Yes.
D, classical.
You are incorrect.
Let's do B.
Yes, you are correct.
Dang.
Salvador Dali's most famous work, The Persistence of Memory, included which surreal concept? A, strange colors, B, magical creatures, C, cubed shapes, or D, melting clocks?
Melting clocks?
Yes. Which of the artists is also a filmmaker? A, Leonardo da Vinci, B, Andy Warhol, C, Frida Kahlo, or D, Pablo Picasso?
B.
Yes, you are correct. Which of these is the newest form of art to be introduced? A, graffiti, B, pop art, C, digital art, or D, realism? Yes, you. Are you blue?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Oh, dang. D?
No.
Dang.
Digital art?
Yes. Oh. How many different official versions of the Scream are in existence? A, 5, B, 2, C, 1, or D, 7?
A?
Yes, you're correct.
Oh.
The Louvre, one of the most famous art museums of the world, is located in which French city? A, Nice, B, Orleans, C, Paris, or D, Strasbourg?
D?
You are incorrect.
Dang.
C.
Yes. When did Banksy release the feature film Exit Through the Gift Shop? A, 2005, B, 2010, C, 2000, or D, 1999?
Let's do D.
Incorrect.
B.
Yes, you are correct. The most common theory of the Mona Lisa's identity is that she is A, Leonardo da Vinci's wife, B, the wife of a silk merchant, C, a famous writer, or D, a complete stranger?
D?
No.
B.
Yes. Which style of art was introduced by Pablo Picasso? A, Surrealism, B, Postmodernism, C, Cubism, or D, Impressionism?
Let's do D, Impressionism.
No.
A?
You are incorrect. The correct answer is C, Cubism.
Cubism.
Which ear did Vincent van Gogh cut off? A, left, B, right, C, neither, it was a hoax, or D, both of them?
B.
Incorrect.
Both of them.
Also incorrect. The correct answer is A, left. Andy Warhol's most famous work is of which common item? A lamp, B, soup cans, A bowl of fruit, or B or D, a dining table?
C?
You are incorrect.
B.
You are actually, yes, you are correct. Which of these is not a popular art style? A, Impressionism, B, Surrealism, C, Classic, or D, Pop art?
C.
You are correct. All right. That's all the questions we have, and our winner is Julia. Congratulations.
Good game, Aiden.
Good game, Julia.
Well, that does it for this edition of The Morning Show.
Please friend us on Facebook. Just search for the New Hanover County School TV page.
And follow us on Twitter for all the latest and most recent updates at NHCS TV.
For the best TV of all, each and every day, keep it tuned right here for New Hanover County Schools TV on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
Have a great day.
And a wonderful week.